Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest, Sangalo Mwenyinyo, who is joining us from Kenya. If I talk about Sangalo, then he is a co-founder and CTO at Prescott Data and a well-known Google developer expert. In today's episode, we will explore the realities behind the agentic AI, what truly breaks when AI moves from prototype to production, also the strategies of integrating the intelligent system into legacy infrastructure. But before we proceed further with these all things, I would like to thank Sanglo for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. So, as I said, my name is Sangalo Mwenyinyo, and I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. Besides that, so I won't say much about myself, but I'll try to give an overview. So, I'm a CTO of an AI company. We have operations in Nairobi. We have an office in the UK, and then we have an office in the US too. Besides that, I'm a builder. I love building stuff. So every single time I have an idea in my mind and I feel like I can put it in reality, I sit down and rather we have a coding, so I can get a prototype out there like so quick, fast. And then besides that, I'm a Google developer expert. And what this means is I love to I'm an advocate for technology. I love to grow talent. I love to speak about tech. I love to mentor people about tech. And then, yeah, I would say that pretty much gives an overview of who I am as an individual.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
Sangalo, like those who know you, they often describe you as someone who builds systems that think, reason, and collaborate. So, like most of the engineers are just building the tools. So, what made you to start thinking in terms of intelligence rather than just a functionality for the system?
Oh, so actually a good question. So I think so products that think, reason, and collaborate. I would say that whole paradigm shift came when AI came.
Okay.
So I would say uh, like honestly, when we began building, I think there was a time when we were building agents.
Mm-hmm.
By then, name agents hadn't yet come, so we're calling them workflows by that time. And then also, when I began building Prescott data, we're trying to solve a solution that like really like seriously needed AI, but again, AI wasn't there at the moment. Like it wasn't mature. It was there, but it wasn't mature enough.
Okay.
But now, when we began building, there was now like the realization that new software systems need to be built differently. We cannot be building with the same paradigm we were building with previous software, because
Mhm.
previously you think about a solution,
Right.
maybe like a problem. then you think about the solution you want to put in place for this problem, then you design it, and then you build it as is. But again, we now agentic applications or agentic platforms, agentic systems is a bit different. You are dealing with a technology that can actually improve itself, that can think, that can reason. So this means even how you're building has to be different. You need to build leaving this room for artificial intelligence to meet you. So this means you need to build an application with the awareness that this thing has to accommodate even outliers, things I won't even think about when building this thing. And
Mhm.
so that's what I mean, like building systems that think, reason, and collaborate.
Okay. And you
Yeah,
just shared one more point, which I would like to elaborate further, which is regarding the agentic AI. So I'm
yeah.
also agree that nowadays everyone is talking about agentic AI and it is thrown around everywhere now because now all are using the models and they know about how agents work. But from your experience actually building these system, because you have built these system in reality, so what's the
Mhm.
gap? What is your thought? Like what is the gap between the hype and what is genuinely hard to get right in the production? Because when you are working with the real world scenarios, so if you draw the parallels between the hype and the real scenarios, so what is your opinion or your exposure so far?
Okay, so I think my opinion is this. When building agentic systems in production, I think software is 90%,
Hmm. Right.
and then AI is just 10%. Uh, uh,
Hardware.
yeah, I think when you meet people, there's usually this people that think I'm building agents and I'm just gonna get an AI system. Maybe I'm gonna get a model and plug in the model, and then things are going to work like magic. But actually, in production, 90% of what you're doing is you're trying to build a system behind actually the supporting system, the supporting layers to support these models themselves. And this is like 90% of the work. Because unless you're going to go and build, train your own model,
Hmm.
we're not called, nor are you, nor are
Correct.
you, nor are you ChatGPT or OpenAI that you have the budget to go and train like these heavy models. So instead, you're going to use proprietary models or you're going to use open source models. This means most of the time, most of the work is trying to make sure the systems you have in place actually are
Hmm.
going to support these models. For example, right now we have a very big problem with memory, agentic memory, and everybody's trying to figure out this problem. I too have tried to figure it out. And then when building this, most of them, I would say like 97% of um, the, um, the memory pipeline I have in place is software. And then 3% is now is AI. And I'm building this to support agents so that agents can be able to have this short-term memory, have this long-term memory, then have this middle memory. But again, be able to reason and actually even make sense across other systems. And all this is memory. But our large language models as we have them don't have these capabilities. We need to give them these capabilities.
Correct.
Maybe, yeah, in future they're gonna get there, but right now they're not there yet. So I would say like what people don't know about production is that in agentic systems, 90% of our work is software,
Hmm.
then 10% is AI.
Is the rest
I
of
would
the
say,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's great to
yeah.
know. And other than agentic AI, one more thing I believe that you also, because I have heard and I have gone through your profile and I found that you often emphasize on the system that are resilient and capable of scaling to the real world demands. So when we are talking about the real world scenarios, you have worked extensively on this system. So what's the one most expensive lesson you have learned about what breaks in AI when we firstly introduce it to the real world scenario? So maybe I will paraphrase it in a different way. Suppose if someone is working with the AI model and they want to uh, apply or deploy it to the real world scenarios. So what could be the potential risk or what could be the potential challenges they will face when they firstly introduce it with the real world scenarios where it might get break?
Mhm. Yeah, I think in my experience, the biggest problem has been fragmentation.
Okay.
So in the real world scenario, especially when you're dealing, maybe you're dealing with an enterprise customer or you're dealing with people with so many things, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
find that one single person is having like at least five different systems,
Right.
a different customer. And then but this person he wants to have AI working for him, but again, he wants AI to cover all his different systems.
Correct.
So this means you have AI, but again, you have a new problem. You're having a problem of fragmentation.
Mm.
So this means whatever you're putting in place has to cut across these 5, 10 different systems. Actually, there's a time we had a customer who had over 20 different systems. And actually, like even when we began building our company, we're trying to solve a visibility problem. But
Mm-hmm.
again, eventually we're forced to first focus on automation
Okay.
because we could not solve this problem unless we could first automate these guys' use cases. So the reality of AI at scale out there, it's more than not, you need to first solve automation to automate. For example, for AI to be useful, it needs to have access to data.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest things when you're working with AI. Maybe you want it to be proactive, you want it to give you intelligence, you want it to access your calendar, you want it to do so many things, and all this is
Right.
data. So this means you need to give it access to data. More often than not, this data is so many places, and it's just hard. So the reality is you need to first solve that problem
Mm.
and then see how that goes. And maybe also there's again the issue of security.
Okay.
That is one problem we have struggled with. Uh, because for example, the other day I was checking out OpenClaw,
Mm-hmm.
and then I need to give OpenClaw access to a couple of different things. And how I could have this is I'm giving it access via like I'm getting it an API key, or I need to get it a refresh token or something. And the way I can do this is I have to get these secrets, actually
Okay.
get the secret and have some sort of secrets.md file where I'm storing the secrets. But
Mm.
again, this is not very secure because your secrets are out there in the open. An agent is having access to these secrets. The secrets are not anonymized. That's a one big barrier. The other barrier is like right now we are dealing with very modern authentication protocols. Maybe for example, we're dealing with OAuth 2.
Mm-hmm.
This means at some point you'll have to refresh this token, and sometimes
Okay.
it's gonna work. An agent is gonna refresh it and it's going to work. But again, at some point the provider might terminate this token and offer you a new token. But
Ah.
again, long running processes, and this agent won't know that this token has been terminated
Mm.
because it has zero access, nor does it have intelligence to understand that this is actually happening. So one thing I said in place was again to try to solve this, to sort of put up a protocol to standardize authentication and agent identity.
Mm. Right.
Yeah, so like where I sit right now is one of the major issues we have when it comes to production out there when it comes to AI agents. Number one, security, and then number two, fragmentation.
Fragmentation. Just
Yeah.
one more thing I want to ask you here. You talked about the security and storing the tokens. So we all know there are some sensitive information and which is also frequently changed. Maybe the credential got changed or the token also get changed, and we have to hit the API, right? So at that
Yeah.
time, what do you think? Like, what is the best way? Is it good to store it into the system, or like from suppose let's say if someone is going to implement that kind of API where they are utilizing the tokens, so what is the best possible way to store the things in a secure manner?
It's a good thing you've asked that because actually, in my journey to solve this, um, I wrote a research paper. Actually, not it's not a research paper. I would say it's a white paper
Okay.
Then I was using what we call the Nexus protocol. We call it the Nexus protocol, and I was trying to standardize how we can have agentic identity and
Mhm.
then also have agent connection orchestration.
Okay.
Because at this point, identity won't just be some tiny bit. We shall have to orchestrate identity.
Mhm.
Because a scenario where you're dealing with, say, you have thousands of agents that are trying to do thousands of things, that are trying to access several different things, and all of them need to have access. So this means you're no longer just giving identity, you're orchestrating identity.
Correct.
So this means you have to have a very better way of how you are giving this. So what I put in place was a paper that proposes an authority. Then it also proposes abstraction of these credentials so that the agents never have access to credentials. Instead, they're given leases. I think the
Okay.
same way we have with the agents payment protocol. They just get a lease to access these things and
Mm.
never the credentials themselves. And then you have visibility and you can terminate this lease when you feel like I need to terminate this. And then the other thing I was put in place was like right now, if you want to authenticate with Google,
Mhm.
you have to build this whole authentication layer to
Correct.
access Google because Google has their way they accessing their hand authentication.
Right.
You want Microsoft, you have to build a new provider like code to talk to Microsoft. You want to talk to Azure, or maybe OpenAI, you're building new authentication code to speak to this guy. So you're gonna get the N plus one problem. For every single provider you're connecting to, you're building new authentication code.
Correct.
Yeah, so what the protocol also proposes is we call it a universal provider layer. So you never have to write code for every single provider. Instead, the agents are very intuitive. They have like I would say they have like some sort of model, a JSON model that is very, very flexible,
Correct.
that adopts every single provider. So
Mm.
you as long as you have the protocol, you never have to build code for every single thing. And actually, uh, 2 weeks ago, we released a beta version
Okay.
of of the protocol. It's actually now like real code because it's actually open source, so anybody can access it.
Mm. Right.
It's open source. It's a Golang framework, and hopefully people can contribute to it, and
Yes.
it grows. Yeah, we try to solve. At least we know we have solved one single problem, security,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then we
great
begin
thing.
to think
Like if
about the
anyone,
others.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So if someone is there who wants to contribute in these kind of great opportunities, so yeah, they can
yeah.
contribute or add the value to it. That's a
Yeah,
great.
actually, it's under the Apache 2 license.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody can contribute to it and use it however way you want. My vision is to have some impact in this agentic era and to contribute in some way other than just consuming.
Yes, right. That's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So other than that, Sangalo, suppose we have we concerned about the fragmentation, we concerned about the security. Now the next
yeah.
problem that I usually see when we are talking about the AI is the legacy code, because enterprise client often come up with years of legacy infrastructure. They have own code, older code, right? So what's your playbook for integrating the intelligent system without blowing up everything in terms of legacy code and legacy infrastructure? So what all precautions you make there?
Oh, so yeah, that is very, very common in enterprise. You're gonna get there and find people they're still using some very old stuff. You're even surprised. So you're like, what? I think my playbook would be one simple thing. I would say first is slow.
Okay.
Maybe slow is fast when it comes to enterprise. You just have to take your time. That's uh, the best example. When you do it slow with them, then you're gonna be fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you do fast with them, then you're going to be slow because
Okay.
whatever is going to go wrong will go wrong. Things are going to break eventually. And by
Mm.
going slow, at least you try to prepare for this eventuality. So usually you try to accommodate, like you try to fit your solution to the existing stack because it's so huge that for them to migrate to new tech is super expensive for them. The cost of
Correct.
migration, for example, an average enterprise customer, the cost of migration from the old stack could be worth millions of dollars to just
Correct.
migrate from the old stack. So you need to meet them where they are.
Correct.
And I think one of the mistakes I made in the earlier days was I didn't have this understanding that actually the enterprise guy is kind of different. And of course, I'm a startup. This means I prioritize speed a lot. But again, with enterprise, I take a backseat and just do it slow.
Just do
And
it.
always slow has been fast. But the moment you come in with fast, fast eventually becomes slow.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a great
Mm,
approach. Okay,
yeah.
all right. So, okay, now moving ahead, Sangalo, we will talk about your work as a Google developer expert because you are GD building AI infrastructure in Africa, in an African context as well. So, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like, what problem are you solving that other country or maybe the Silicon Valley isn't even asking the right question about? So, what is your core mission as a GD for that?
Uh, Great question. So, full disclaimer, as much as I'm a GD, and I've mostly been building, so the solutions I've been building have been more like I would say a global scale. I
Mm-hmm.
um, haven't really zeroed down to try to solve um, these problems at the African level
Okay.
because it's just I think what I would say it's just like expensive and very hard. Because from where I see it, the biggest problem I saw was we are building right now we are building AI.
Mm-hmm.
The world is building AI, but we don't have AI built for Africa because there's even no data for Africa.
Okay.
So this means if at all I need to build uh, let's say like a large language model, you can only build for the basic languages, the most common languages we have in Africa, for example, Swahili. At least
Swahili.
you can find data. But again, Africa has thousands of languages.
Mm.
Point, I speak a different language. My co-founder speaks a different language. My
Okay.
other co-founder speaks a different language. My founding team, one of my founding members, speaks a different language.
They have.
So us together, yeah, like in a group of 10, seven of us are speaking different languages.
Mm. Right.
And this means even like our approach to build AI for this market means you need to factor in this problem. We
Mm.
don't have AI built for Africa itself. So this means we need to begin from the grassroots. For example, we need data. How
Correct.
can we collect this data? And data collection is one of the most hardest and expensive things you can ever set your mind to. Uh, so I've thought about it. I've even theorized about how we can do this. I even got a couple of friends together to figure out how we can solve this problem, and we actually had a good solution to tackle this problem. Like first get the data,
Mm-hmm.
and then now try to build things because there's so much you can do. For example, we have right now like the e-commerce sector, the entrepreneurs. Like right now, like we are seeing adverts that are made purely out of AI. Somebody just builds a whole advert campaign, and every material has been made with AI. And this is possible because these are models trained on French, trained on English, trained on Arabic. Actually, even people like you guys in India are better.
Yeah.
It was like yeah, but now for me, my people they cannot because my people speak they speak Samia.
Right.
If I ask Gemini, it's going to know about my people, but again, it won't understand my language at all. So I can't build an advert for them, I have to conform to either Swahili or conform to English. If I go to Uganda, I'm going to find people speaking Luganda, and they cannot understand. These models are not built to understand Luganda. So I have to conform to what we have out there. So I think I would say our problems are so hard to solve right now.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, language
yeah,
is a great big issue because they have different reasons, and according to the reasons, language is getting changed. So that's a
yeah,
big issue for AI because AI is totally dependent on the data, and if data is not there, then how we can build the solution?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We don't have data. Yeah,
Yeah. So, Sangalo, one thing is clear that this issue is language is a barrier for this. But other than that, what do you think? Like, what are the biggest bottlenecks for the AI adoption in Africa business? Like, why people are not adopting the AI in terms of businesses or maybe in terms of daily use? Is it related to the talent, infrastructure, trust, or something else entirely for not adopting the AI? Comparatively to the other places.
okay, so in Africa, I would say it's a little bit of many things.
Mm-hmm.
For example, me as a tech founder, one of my biggest challenges was um, talent.
Okay,
Yeah, we have so much talent in Africa when it comes to software engineering, data. There's so many. But
correct,
now when AI came in a very like everybody was catching up. Most people were catching up. Even talent itself. Even some universities are just rolling out new courses on AI engineering just to catch up with where the market is going.
correct,
And now for us, we set out to build a very hard solution because AI actually building AI is very hard.
correct.
It's simple when you're just building simple RAG pipelines and blah blah blah. It's very simple and direct. But when you set out to solve huge problems at scale, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes so hard. And then this means you must have talent that can actually build these things at this scale you want. Because the people you're competing with are people in Silicon Valley.
Correct.
People have been since day one. So we found that we had talent, but talent wasn't experienced enough to begin thinking from where the world was going. Because like right now, for a software engineer to build an AI platform, then you have to change the whole way you are thinking. You cannot build this software the same way you're building software before.
Right.
You have to build software that actually leaves space for the large language model and the AI itself to meet you somewhere. Like you build and leave some room for AI to meet you somewhere. But again, the engineers we had were guys who are used to the old way of building software. For example, an example is previously when you're building an application that needs for you to maybe you are connected to a database. So this means you need to write, you need to delete, you need to update. Previously, you had to build if um, an update endpoint, a delete endpoint. All these are endpoints you're putting there for so many things you're supposed to do. So if you find maybe, oh, I need to have an endpoint that replay or maybe whatever, an endpoint. But right now, if you for example you're dealing with an agentic application,
Mm-hmm.
this means you need to give it one endpoint. Then it's gonna call the database itself and it's going to update itself, then it's going to delete itself. It's going to, so you don't have to have this many endpoints to just solve this one solution. So this means your thinking must have changed at this point. You
Correct.
won't solve the same way. But again, there's again an issue of trust. People just need to like because to work with AI, you need to have some trust.
Trust is needed.
Yeah, you need to have some trust at some point. Otherwise, you'll be paranoid completely. Maybe the other thing would be different markets.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, we have the first gets to catch up are usually the small companies. They catch up very fast. Then
Mm-hmm.
enterprise catches up, but now government, and it takes slow, and our government is still catching up. We don't even have frameworks on how we should handle AI. for example, AI governance. We don't have. So we're just playing catch up. I would say yes, that's now like one of the biggest one of the biggest problems we have to adoption. We are playing catch up a lot on almost every single thing when it comes to the government layer. Yeah, but the rest, I would say we have everything. Yeah,
Yeah, like if we talk about the overall expertise and talent of the African students and IT folks, I'm sure like they know how to deliver the things in the right time when they are provided with the right opportunities. So for sure, like they will do our best. So yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so Sangalo, like we talked about some of the issues. Now, I'm going to put some hypothetical question for you here because I really like the vision that you have for your country and for the work that you are
Mm,
doing. So I just want to
yeah.
ask you one hypothetical question. So let's say if you are provided with unlimited resources and team and authorities and all the permissions, so and someone asks you to deploy one AI solution across all African region tomorrow, so what would you are going to build there and how you will implement that?
Oh, okay. So for my continent, I would say I would provide a solution that offers visibility,
Okay.
like people to know things. Like one of the things I've realized, like one of the most important resources is information.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are aware they are because they have access to information, and some are disadvantaged because they don't have access to information. So I think I would try to put that in place.
Okay.
One example, it will try to solve corruption, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much corruption in around here because visibility is little, and if it is there, it is hidden in so many. So I'll try to bring up a solution that can offer visibility to everybody.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So now we will talk about some things of AI that can be helpful for all those who are from the non-technical background, because we talked about technical things. But let's say if there are someone who are not aware of the technical things and still they wants to implement AI or they want to use AI. So what few examples you can share here that can be useful for them in order to use AI on the regular basis without having the knowledge of coding or other technical things.
I would say um, I think they should begin from the bare minimum,
Okay,
and also and the bare minimum right now we have is ChatGPT,
ChatGPT. Yeah.
and we have Gemini. And if you can afford it, pay the small monthly fee to have access to a good reasoning model, and then just include it in your work. If you have a question, go and ask it. If you have if you want to search about something, let it go search for you something. For example, if you want to understand somebody and somebody maybe you're skeptical, go and
Mm-hmm.
do some deep research about that person. For example, right now, I woke up in the morning and I was seeing so much information about what is happening in Iran right now.
Mm-hmm.
Out of we have Ayatollah is dead. So there's so much information. So I'm like, okay, I need to have this information. Let me tell Gemini to just give me a brief of whatever is happening, what is the truth, what is the lies, and everything. And it gave me. So I consumed the information not because I spent so much time going to look for it, but the bare minimum, and everybody can access the bare minimum. So you begin from there, and then I would say demand with like when you reach a point where you feel like you need to do more, then ask Gemini again. It will tell you what to do next if you feel like it's not serving you.
Okay.
So I would say just the bare minimum. Yeah.
Okay, so we can conclude it in a way that start with the bare minimum and just try to figure out like where you can utilize and if you can put the prompt to get some information or that information may be helpful for your work as well, for your education or maybe for your job.
Yeah.
That is the simplest way to start with, and then later on, one by one, by the time you will learn the
Exactly.
simple things.
Yes. Yes. You begin from the bare minimum. Yeah.
All right.
Mm,
Okay, so
yeah.
now we will talk about Sangalo about the support system, because behind every successful person, or I believe there is a network of support who help them in their journey. So looking back on your own journey, who were the key people who have helped you throughout your journey so far?
Oh yeah. So should have been a lot of people. But for my career, I would say uh one of my co-founders is called Miyukani Kizito.
Okay.
He played a very big role in putting me in the right direction because actually my background was in healthcare. That's what I went to do in school. Um, but a lot has changed since my days studying medicine. And yeah, Kizito. And then I've had friends, brothers, my family that have been very, very helpful. Small ways and big ways, yeah. But my career, Miyokani, one of my co-founders, yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, we talked about the support system. Now, I think it's time to talk about the country because you are a proud citizen of Kenya. So, we just wanted
Yeah.
to know about the one best thing that you wish to share about Kenya to the rest of the world that is close to your heart about your country.
Oh, Kenya to the rest of the world. I would say we are very,
I know there are so many things about Kenya, but
yeah,
one
I would
thing, and
say,
it's very hard to share, select the one thing.
yeah,
Yes.
I would say we are very welcoming people.
Okay.
We are very welcoming people, and yeah, that's the thing I can say about Kenya. We are very welcoming people, and we are very, very also conscious of how we are. That's why we usually have this many. You're gonna hear some issues with our government, and of course, there are issues with governments everywhere. But
Yeah.
we are people who need to know what's going on around us. Yeah, so we are very welcoming people, and then we're just self-aware, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Like the people of Africa and especially the Kenya and in fact, if we talk about the people all over the world, like people are nice. Sometimes like things might be different because of some issues or some political or other issues. But yeah, overall the people are fine and welcoming. Especially the Kenya, I have heard a lot about the wildlife and the people behavior, like when they treat with you with that kind of
yeah,
gesture. So yeah, that is a great thing that you just shared about your country.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sangalo, for joining us today in this episode and for sharing so much information regarding the AI and about in terms of African context also. So it was really a pleasure talking with you here. So I hope you also enjoyed the discussion and thank you once again for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks.